Good morning, children. Welcome to Physical Science online class. Welcome to 7th Standard Physical Science revision class. Today we will be revising the detailed answers. Already we have revised the short answers and exercise of our exam portion lessons. So after completing this revision, we will revise whole. You have to revise the whole things and write today's exam faithfully and hopefully. Okay, children? So let us start our revision. The first question. This is physics third lesson detail answers. What is kinetic energy? Give an example to illustrate how kinetic energy can be utilized to do useful work. The energy that a body has to do due to its motion is called kinetic energy. The energy that a body has due to its motion is called kinetic energy. So this is the definition for kinetic energy. Water flowing down mountain can move rocks and wash away soil. The kinetic energy of flowing water was earlier used in water mills to grind grain and do other kinds of work. Now we use the energy of wind and water to generate electricity. Okay, children. So, how this kinetic energy is useful? What is kinetic energy? The energy that a body has due to its motion is called kinetic energy. Okay, so in what ways this kinetic energy is useful? The kinetic energy move the rocks and wash away the soils. Also, this kinetic energy of the flowing water, in earlier days they used that kinetic energy to grind the grains and also to do other kinds of work. Nowadays we are converting the kinetic energy of the wind and water to generate the electricity. Do you understood this, children? This is a simple question, so you can easily read this answer. Okay, then next some important questions only alone we will discuss now. Okay, the next question is last question, fourth one. Explain the working of roller coaster. Explain the working of roller coaster. And what's the answer of roller coaster? Yes, the roller coaster is a kind of railway that goes up and down a series of hills and drops and has sudden loops and turns. So you know what is a roller coaster, isn't it? It is a kind of railway that goes up and down a series of hills and drops and has sudden loops and turns also will be there. Am I right? The car travels along the tracks almost entirely on their own. So the car which is traveling along the tracks, they travel entirely on their own without needing to be driven by an engine. So there is no without engine, the car them itself moves on the track. Okay, they are only pulled up the first hill and after that it is a matter of potential energy changing into kinetic energy and vice versa. So at the initial point only, at the initial stage only, the first at the first step where the track is moving upwards, no, there only it need to be pulled up, then it moves with the help of potential and kinetic energies and it changes then and there. Okay, as they go up the first hill they gain potential energy. So while it reaches the height of the first hill, it will comes to rest position, that is it has potential energy. When they come down, the potential energy get converted into kinetic energy. So when it comes down from after climbing up the first hill, when it come down to the slope, come down to the plane, it will it uses the kinetic energy. So that the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. This kinetic energy is enough to push them up the next hill. So the kinetic energy occurred by the gained by that car will helpful to push the car to the up the next hill. As they climb up again, the kinetic energy gets converted into potential energy and the process continue until the end of the ride. So until the end of the ride, this conversion of potential energy and kinetic energy comes one after the other, and finally the until the process end, it will continues. Okay, children, do you understood this process? This is the working of a roller coaster. This is also a simple question, you can easily get mark. Okay children. Now we will be discussing the detailed answers of chemistry lesson 3. Okay, third lesson chemistry detailed answers we are going to revise, and there are 5 questions. We will discuss some important questions. Okay children. So the first one is describe the the fourth question, describe the technique of paper chromatography. Paper chromatography, this is a new technique you have learned this year, no? So this is an important question. You have to understand this very thoroughly. That will be useful for you in your higher classes. Okay children. So describe the technique of paper chromatography. Question number 4. So let us discuss the technique of paper chromatography. Chromatography is based on the principle of adsorption. Adsorption, not absorption. Adsorption. In adsorption, a substance called adsorbate forms a layer on the surface of another substance. So, a substance which forms a layer on the surface of another substance is called to be adsorbate. Okay, and this another substance where the whose surface the other substance forms a surface, forms a layer, no, that substance is called to be adsorbent. Adsorbent, generally alumina, silica or cellulose is used as adsorbent. So which are all used as adsorbent? Alumina, silica, cellulose, all these are used as adsorbent. The technique using paper is called paper chromatography. If this technique uses the paper, then the technique is called as paper chromatography. When you place a solution of mixture over an adsorbent, the different component of the mixture get, what happens to the mixture? The different component of the mixture get adsorbed to different extents. So the adsorbent, on the adsorbent, when you keep the solution of mixture, what happens? The different components present in the mixture, get absorbed to different extents. So they move with different speeds on the surface of the adsorbent. Thus the components get separated. So by this technique the components get separated. Remember that it is the solvent that drives the solute on the adsorbent. Example, the chromatographic paper. So the solvent has to be properly selected. So we have to select the solvent properly. Why? Because the solvent only will make the dissolved substances to absorb or to move on the absorbent. Okay, so we have to select the solvent properly, and the adsorbent is called the stationary phase. The adsorbent is called the stationary phase, the surface on which the adsorbate is forming a layer, no, that adsorbent is called to be stationary phase, and the solution is mobile phase, and the adsorbate is called to be mobile phase. The band of colors obtained on the paper is called a chromatogram. So the different colors occurs on the after the separation process. Different colors of papers will be formed on the paper. Colors will be formed on the paper, and that is called to be chromatogram. Do you understood this, children? Hope you have understood. See, pigment of ink. Here we have taken the paper. This paper is called is the absorbent. Okay, and we are using the ink. Ink is called as absorbate, and water is the solvent. Water is the solvent. This paper is called to be stationary phase, and this ink which is moving on the paper, no, that is called to be mobile phase. And also what happens, the it is called to be mobile phase. Do you understand? So after the separation of pigment of ink, different colors will be formed, no, the green and usually ink is blue in color. The ink from that we can get the green and yellow color can be separated. That array of colors is called to be chromatogram. This is about paper chromatographic technique. Do you understood this, children? Hope you have understood. Shall we enter into the next question? Yes, the next question is question number 5, that is differentiate between mixture and compounds. How do mixtures differ from compounds? Okay, how do mixtures differ from compounds? And the answer is mixture, it is an impure substance. Mixture is an impure substance, whereas on the other hand compound is a pure substance. So mixture is an impure substance, compound is a pure substance. Next point, it does not have a fixed melting or boiling point. So this mixture does not have any fixed melting or boiling point. There is no fixed melting point or boiling point for a mixture, but compound has a fixed melting and boiling point. Mixture, the components can be present in any proportion. The components, there is no fixed ratio, so it can the components can present in any ratio, that is mixture, in the case of mixture. But in the case of compounds, the constants must be present in a fixed proportion. So the component should be present in a fixed ratio. For example, water means 2 parts of hydrogen and 1 part of oxygen only makes water. Similarly, sodium chloride means 1 part of sodium and 1 part of chlorine will make sodium chloride. You can't keep 2 parts of sodium and 1 part of chlorine, and you can't say that is a sodium chloride. Okay children, so like that a fixed ratio should be maintained so that only the compound can be formed. And fourth point, mixture, the components can be separated by physical means. By using physical techniques like filtration, distillation, evaporation, we can separate the components of the mixture. But that is not possible in the case of compounds. The constituents cannot be separated by physical means. Do you understand? Fifth point, the components show their individual property. In the case of mixtures, the components show their individual properties, but in the case of compounds, the constituents do not show their individual properties. So this is about the this is how the mixtures differ from the compound. This is very important question. 5 points, 5 marks. Easily you can get the marks. Do you understood children? So revise thoroughly. Use unruled paper for writing your exam. Keep preparing well and write your exam well and score more marks. Thank you children. Meet you in the next class. All the best.